America, bonjour, hi, Canada. Hugh Hewitt live inside the Beltway on this 18th day of November in the year of our Lord 2022. There's a lot of news this morning. Of course, you know, a Custom and Border Protection agent was shot, and two of his colleagues shot dead, and two of his colleagues wounded in a gun battle at sea off of Puerto Rico. The drug smugglers running from the Dominican Republic up to Puerto Rico didn't even bother to pretend to run away. They just opened fire on the CBP, and I don't see it much covered this morning. And then I don't see the agent's name yet, and they probably are notifying Ken and telling everyone about it. And I just want to say I can't believe it's not in any of the newspapers. It's emblematic of everything that is wrong at the border. It is a terrible sacrifice of life by someone who's a sworn agent of the United States protecting you and me from bad guys. Who knows what they had in the boat? You know, suitcases full of fentanyl. Who knows? Are they themselves wanted? We'll find out. But it's such a shocking thing. And I know there are other things going on. But yesterday on Special Report, I'm very rarely speechless. But Brett played a clip that I had not seen last night of Chuck Schumer saying, time for amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants. And I must say, I'm kind of gobsmacked by this. Play cut number 14. This is my response to Brett.
With a Republican House, Hugh, that's not happening. You look at the migrant encounters, you can see that this is up significantly along the southern border. And then you look at drugs seized at the southern border over 4 days, how much is coming in across the border. This is a major, major issue. And the Homeland Security Secretary dealt with a lot of questions about that up on Capitol Hill.
Most cynical thing I've seen Chuck Schumer do in a long time. That's saying a lot because he's awfully cynical. There is no chance of that happening. Zero, nothing. If there was a path to a compromise, it was not going to be done that way on anything. And I also think coming as it does on the day when at least one Customs and Border Protection agent is dead, two are wounded. It's a dangerous job. 350 of those guys have died over the years that agencies had different initials. I just think it's cynical and it's almost it's disparaging of what these people do on the border to turn to regularize everyone.
And it's not even regularize anyone. It is give amnesty to everyone. Now, I've always been a moderate on immigration. I think we ought to regularize everyone that's here who isn't a criminal or doesn't have a criminal record. It's pretty easy to do. But we got to build the wall, and we got to get more CPB people out there. But for Chuck Schumer to come out yesterday and say, you know, we've got to get 11 million people amnesty. It's not 11 million, it's 20 million. And that's okay. We can deal with that. The country needs people. But to do that is just so utterly cynical that I just doubt whether or not anything can happen. Now, oversight is coming. I met Congressman Comer in the green room yesterday, and he is going to be chair of House Oversight, and he's got subpoena power. He's been in Congress 6 years. He's a young man, and 6 years, he got there. He's on the lower dais, right, and he's over on the right. Now he's in the middle with the gavel, and he had a great interview, and we talked about that agenda also with Brett, cut number 13.
You know, the question that really originated, what do you say to people who say, why today? Why roll this out first? And is that what you're hearing from the midterms, Hugh?
I think it's important to roll out what you want to do. Now, that's only 9% of the caucus, as Representative Comer told you, so it's not what they're going to be doing exclusively. But I would also like to see Leader McCarthy, who's going to be Speaker-designate McCarthy, get his Select Committee on China up and running and named, like Comer's off to a fast start. Because this is not downtime. This is not dead time. This is time to set the agenda and raise expectations and stress cooperation. I thought Comer, with you, was remarkable. He's only been in Congress 6 years. So to be in charge of an oversight committee with this expansive an authority and a subpoena power is quite a rise.
Yeah, it is quite a rise, and Kentucky is going to benefit from that. We, of course, talked about Nancy Pelosi, who announced her retirement from the speakership. She's not leaving Congress. Here is her announcement, cut number 2.
There is no greater official honor for me than to stand on this floor and to speak for the people of San Francisco. This I will continue to do as a member of the House, speaking for the people of San Francisco, serving the great state of California, and defending our Constitution. And with great confidence in our caucus, I will not seek re-election to Democratic leadership in the next Congress.
Now, why did she step down? Kevin McCarthy on Fox Business with Larry Kudlow, the incoming speaker, said this, cut number 1.
It has to be the minority leader, which I believe that'll be Hakeem Jeffries. But it's interesting. I had a friend text me So I just saw Nancy Pelosi's finally been fired, but I think she's leaving because she's still staying in Congress. She just doesn't want to have to hand me the gavel. Probably that's the reason.
McCarthy's going to be very good at this job. The new speaker designate, speaker-elect, is going to be very good at this job. We talked about those leadership changes last night, also on Special Report. I was there with Philip Wegeman from Real Clear Politics and with our own Katie Pavlik from townhall.com. Cut number 12.
End of an era, Hugh, but Democrats are now searching for new blood, even though Steny Hoyer wants to be in leadership, as does James Clyburn.
Well, Hakeem Jeffries is 52, and this is a much-needed passing of the baton within the Democratic caucus. And I think while they will keep their old veterans around, like every professional athlete, you keep the old veterans around, you talk to them, but you really don't look to them to lead. And I think Mr. Jeffries will be a fine minority leader. But Kevin McCarthy's hitting stride, and as Katie said, he should take a few pages out of Nancy Pelosi's playbook because he's going to have 222, I think, might be 221. She governed with that kind of a majority. He can do so as well, although it's not in concert with the Senate. He can get a lot done.
He can't, and that is the idea, is oversight plus the Select Committee on China. The most important thing is the Select Committee on China. A couple other headlines. On Twitter, they're obsessed with Twitter. Because Twitter has made people obsessed with it. It's an addictive thing. I like Twitter, but I do politics and sports and not. I think it's crazy how much some people use it, but I use it for news, and it's a good news feed. Elon Musk gave everyone an ultimatum. Sign on for a complete revamp, top to bottom, stern to stem, and port to starboard, whatever you want to call it. I don't know any of the metaphors. We're going to turn everything around, and we're going to change it up, and it's going to be, quote, hardcore. I mean, you're going to have to work. You're not going to get to stay at home and engineer a new software tweak here. We're going to turn everything upside down because people need Twitter. They want Twitter, but we got to make it work, and it's got to be fair, and it's got to grow, and we got to make money. And a bunch of people are leaving. And all last night there was weeping and gnashing and pulling of teeth and hair out online as people, oh, what's he doing? What he's doing is he owns the company. It's his company. He didn't defraud anyone. He bought it out in the open for $44 billion. And contrast how he's being covered and being a new CEO taking over, here's what we're doing, with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. This is he's the millennials Madoff. And the millennials Madoff is teaching millennials risk. And if they had ever read Ellis Items is just full of this stuff. And I was reading Ellis Items this morning, and if you get news items from John Ellis from Substack, you'll be ahead of the game, which is the first thing I read in the morning. And I just want to go back and read his summary of the summary. Now, this is the summary of the summary of FBX, of SBF, and FTX, and we should just call it SAM. On Thursday, FTX new chief executive John Ray III, remember appointed by the bankruptcy court, wrote in detailed court papers that the FTX debacle was, quote, a complete failure of corporate controls and demonstrated such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information. Ray once helped clean up Enron, so presumably he is not easily disturbed. In the filing, Ray first delineated the 4 silos of FTX operations. These were a U.S.-based trading platform, a segment-making venture capital-like investments at Alameda Research crypto trading arm, and the main offshore unit. The last held the bulk of the customer's assets. Proper cash controls, corporate governance, bookkeeping are non-existent, basically, at FTX, Ray discovered. Crypto assets have gone missing, with forensic investigators trying to track them down in cyberspace. Just how the various silos shuffled money around is not well understood. One example, the Alameda Research Unit, according to its balance sheet from September, showed it was owed billions personally by FTX management. That includes the now deposed Sam Bankman-Fried. At the same time, Ray said the financial statements he could find and piece together were unreliable. It's a money pit. It's a scandal beyond scandals, and they're worried about Elon Musk making Twitter work better with people who want to work hard. I do not get it. Stay tuned, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Sonny Bunch is back on the Hugh Hewitt Show after a couple of weeks of nothing but politicking. We are needing the movie segment, the official movie critic of the Hugh Hewitt Show, who's got hundreds of thousands of airplane miles to show for it. Sonny Bunch, welcome back. Before we go to Lyle Crocodile and whatever you want to talk about, I want to know who's going to play Sam Bankman-Fried in the movie based upon the collapse of his empire that Michael Lewis is writing. I mean, we had Richard Dreyfuss play Madoff. Now we need the millennials Madoff. Who is it going to be?
I could see it. I could see it being Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill could do that.
Isn't he a little old for that?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know who's kind of young.
It's going to be a movie, right? It's going to be on HBO or one of the platforms.
I'm sure it'll be a TV series or something. I mean, Michael Lewis is gonna turn it into a book, and it'll be, very, very popular, I'm sure. So I don't know. Dream casting this one is hard because you don't get a lot of kind of weird, dumpy-looking guys as Hollywood movie stars.
You've got quite a group down in the Bahamas, though. This is going to be quite the movie. Sonny, let's get importantly to Lyle Crocodile. I only have one thing to tell you as a movie reviewer: don't take a 3-year-old to it. That's my entire review. It's too sad for a 3-year-old.
I took a 4-year-old, and he was just kind of bored the whole time. It was not his cup of tea.
So we've both seen Lyle Crocodile. Oh God!
My 7-year-old loved it. So I don't know. She was moved. She was moved by the. It's not a good movie, but it's the only movie. It's the only movie for families in theaters, and it's the only movie that's been released for kids in like the last 2 months almost.
I know, and Sonny, there were about 10 grandfathers with their 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds because it was the weekend, right? And the parents want to get out and start doing holiday stuff, so go to the movies. And my 3-year-old got too sad when Lyle Crocodile went to jail, and so then we had to leave.
Yeah, he goes. They send him off to Crocodile Prison, aka the zoo. And he has to fight in the yard, for his
okay, off air, you've got to tell me how it ends because I don't know how it ends. I keep telling her, oh, it's fine. Lyle Crocodile's fine. Let's get to whatever you want to talk about. I haven't seen anything except Lyle Crocodile. I don't even know what's out there yet. I haven't seen the Banshees yet. I don't know. What do you think is good?
Yeah, well, so we can do kind of a quick lightning round here because it has been a few weeks since I've been on, so there's a lot of stuff out. I mean, the big new release the last couple of weeks, of course, is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe sequel to Black Panther. Of course, Chadwick Boseman, who was the star of Black Panther, he played Black Panther. He tragically died of colon cancer back in 2020, which was a shock. Everybody was very surprised. Nobody knew that was going to happen. He hadn't really told anyone. He didn't want anyone to know about it, and then passed away very sadly. The director, Ryan Coogler, did not want to replace him, so they did not want to recast that role. So this movie has a big challenge on its hand, which is that it needs to pay tribute to the actor while also introducing a new Black Panther to audiences, while also serving as kind of a standard
Marvel
movie
franchise.
With all the connections there, and look, I think you can make this movie has a big problem in that it is two different movies kind of competing against each other. The first is a feature length episode of mourning, basically. I mean, it is a very sad movie about the death of T'Challa and how everybody is coming to terms with that, and what they are very much reflecting what the cast and crew was going through in their real life. And that's kind of an interesting thing. You can do that in a feature-length blockbuster. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but you can do it. And then the other version, again, the other thing here is it's a very standard Marvel movie. It introduces a big new character, Ironheart, who is basically best described as Girl Iron Man. She's her role in this movie is unnecessarily complicated, but she is here not because of any reason for the movie. She's here because she's being introduced in a MCU series on Disney Plus. Yep. You gotta get all that in. And
the ecosystem has to spread. Kudzu must grow.
Exactly. So the results here, and I haven't even look. You'll notice I haven't even really talked about the actual thrust of the plot of the story, which involves an underwater kingdom that has vibranium that is super powerful and is but none of this matters because it's all a big bloated soggy mess. It is really just a slog to watch. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes almost.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, it is. I mean, it really is.
I thought Lyle Crocodile was endless.
Yeah,
It took a long time, Lyle Crocodile, to get to jail, and that's when we left. So I'm not going to see this Wakanda. What else have you got, Sonny? Give me something.
All right. What else is there? Well, you mentioned the Banshees of Inisherin. I quite like that. It is.
Tell me about that, because I love the trailer. It's going to be a while till I get. I don't think it's here yet. I tried to find it, but what is it good?
Well, so all right. So the Banshees of Inisherin is written and directed by Martin McDonagh, who folks might remember from In Bruges. He is the writer and director of In Bruges. Also made 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
He did. Oh.
Yeah, that was
fine movie. I like that movie.
Yeah. All right, so he's so this is set in Ireland in 1923. It's during the Irish Civil War. The Inisherin is a fictional island just off the coast of Ireland, where the main characters live. One of whom is played by Brendan Gleeson. He's a musician. He wants to be remembered as a great fiddler. He wants people hundreds of years from now to play his music. And he has decided he wants to stop being friends with Colin Farrell's character, who is a charitably, we shall call him simple young man, who has been distracting Brendan Gleeson's Colm character from his great destiny of being a fine
memorable
musician.
fiddler.
And
yes.
he wants Gleeson sets a very straightforward request. He just doesn't want to be bothered by Colin Farrell's character anymore. Just leave me alone. Don't bother me anymore. And he can't take the hint. Colin can't take the hint. He doesn't take the hint. He doesn't take the hint. And eventually, as we see in the trailer, he says, every time you bother me from now on, I'm going to cut off one of my fingers. And that will show you how serious I am. And it kind of gives new meaning to the phrase, cut off your nose to spite your face. You know, How many fingers does a fiddler really need? We find out in this movie. I won't spoil it.
Oh dear!
At least one finger is removed. I'll just say that much. It is very darkly funny. It is very, very funny, and it is very sad. I mean, it is a movie about people who do not. I don't know, not people. It's a movie about a person who does not want to be around somebody else anymore, which causes a lot of problems because there are other people in his life who want to be around him. Nobody can understand this newfound
aversion,
haughtiness. They think he's lost his mind, and it's very good. It's very sad. It's very sweet. I strongly recommend.
That is a gimme. That's a strong recommendation from Sonny Bunch, not given to overstatement at all.
Yeah,
critics must be. Is there anything else? There's really something on my Twitter feed keeps popping up. You know, they advertise movies on Twitter feeds all the time. At least they did before Elon Musk took it over. And I'm looking to see if I got one saying movie of the year. Probably I can't find the ad. Anything else out there?
Let's see. Out this week, new this week. There's a movie out called The Menu, which is a kind of darkly comic thriller type film. So the basic setup here is 12 rich people go to a private island where a restaurant that serves $1,250 per person prefixed meals is, and when they get there, they find out that the restaurant owner is basically trying to wants to kill all of them, more or less. That's the setup here. That's in the trailer. I don't think I'm spoiling too much. And the joy of the movie is finding out why exactly all of these people have been gathered here. There's a foodie and his date who are played by Nicholas Hoult and Anya Taylor-Joy. There's a food critic who is there. I guess you can guess why she might be on a restaurateur's hit list.
Yeah.
There are some like rich finance bros. There's a famous movie star who's name dropping all over the place. This crew of it's a wonderful crew of actors. Ralph Fiennes plays the restaurant owner. Again, Anya Taylor-Joy is in it. I like her a lot. John Leguizamo plays the washed-up actor. He's very good in this. And it is, again, it's very darkly funny, and it it is pitching itself to audiences as kind of a most dangerous game riff, something like The Hunt or Surviving the Game, something along those lines. It's not that exactly. It is not that. It's not action oriented. It is more of a drama or a talking drama almost. It's a lot of people sitting around talking, trying to figure out why they are in this predicament. But it's incredible. It's very funny. It's very darkly funny. And it is actually about the nature of art. I mean, it's not a movie about food or foodieism. It's not even really a movie about class or eating the rich. It's a movie about audiences and artists and how best to appreciate what they do. I'll leave it at that. I enjoyed it. It's very funny. And again, the cast is really, really wonderful. So
we've covered 4 flicks: Lyle Lyle, Crocodile, Wakanda, the Banshees, and The Menu. That's pretty good work, Sonny Bunch.
You can skip Lyle Lyle. You can skip Wakanda Forever. I do recommend Banshees of Inisherin very strongly. The Menu I enjoyed. Slightly less strong recommendation, but it is fun and entertaining. So,
well, I hope you will stick around offline so I can find out how Lyle Lyle Crocodile ends and can reassure Genghis Kate that all turned out well in the end, which I've already told her, but she was very sad. Sonny Bunch on Twitter. And you read him in the Washington Post, read him online. He goes to his 2 podcasts. The Bulwark Goes to the movies and Across the Movie Aisle. If you love movies, Sonny Bunch is a guy to listen to. Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. You've heard over the years my amazing associate producer, Danielle, on the show. Danielle Hitchen joins us now. She is the author. In addition to being a key producer of the Hugh Hewitt Show, she is an author of extraordinary reach and success. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning, Hugh. Thanks for having me back.
I want to tell everyone as their Christmas shopping gets underway, I want them to know about your book line. Tell people what you've done. Tell people about your latest book, because I'm so proud of this. Might be the best thing to come out of the Hugh Hewitt Show is that we employed Danielle long enough that she could become a major publishing hit.
Well, I appreciate that. So I write a series of books called the Baby Believer Primer Series as a part of my company, Catechesis Books. These books format key concepts that kids have to learn anyway: the alphabet, numbers, animals, opposites, and they map them onto theological concepts. So the book that I just released is Psalm 23, a colors primer, and it walks through the straight-up text of this beloved psalm and pairs a color with each of the verses so that the children have a mnemonic device to remember each verse of the psalm.
And my grandkids love how many are there? Are there 8 now?
Psalm 23 is our 9th book, if you can believe it.
It's number 9. So Catechesis Books, all right? Is it book or books? Catechesis Books or books.com?
It's Catechesis Books with an S.com, or they can go to babybeliever.com, which is much easier to spell.
Amen. Baby Believer. So Baby Believer. And can they buy all 9 at once for their coming? Because it's the best Christmas present for toddlers that there is.
Yes, they could absolutely buy all 9 at once on the website. There is a set of the books, and actually today is the last day of my Black Friday sale. I had it early, so it's a great day to buy.
Oh, believerbooks.com. Go get your early Black Friday books. And these books have sold and sold and sold. I can't believe that nobody saw this opportunity except you, Danielle. Maybe that's Biola and Dusty and Rob working with you. Maybe that's John Mark. Where did you get this idea from?
You know, there was a book series that I loved when my oldest daughter was 18 months old that took classic literature and put it in this primer style format. And so there was, Pride and Prejudice became One English Village, Two Rich Gentlemen, Five Sisters, 10,000 Pounds. And I just thought it was such a delightful way to introduce kids to, the characters and concepts of classic literature and authors. And I was like, oh, somebody should do that for theology. Haha, wouldn't that be cool? And then that idea just didn't let me go. And so I sat down and wrote out a couple of manuscripts. And I was like, oh, I bet I can write these books. And here I am 6 years later with 9 books under my belt. And I have just absolutely loved producing these books, sharing them with families across the world, and sharing them with my own kids. My own kids have learned so much from them. My littlest has memorized Psalm 23 in just a couple of months from just reading this book with her over and over again.
Well, how do spicy children? You've told me that spicy children is how we describe people like Genghis Kate now, not willful children, but spicy. How do spicy children like BabyBeliever.com books?
Well, my youngest is definitely a spicy child, and she really loves the Baby Believer books. In fact, they're her favorites. She will actually sit and read them with me. Now she insists on turning the pages herself. She also insists on reading the pages she has memorized herself. She's always telling me, I'll read it. I'll read it.
I'll read it.
But
how old is the youngest?
She's got it memorized. She's just shy of 4.
Just shy of 4. See, BabyBeliever.com. It is really the best Christmas present you can give to the children of believers and to young parents. I think you must have those given as shower presents again and again and again, Danielle. Is that the case?
Yes, definitely. Although my friends are so kind, they buy the books and then they give them away as shower gifts. So I'm often in a baby shower and somebody else gives my books away and I'm like, hey, don't I get to give my own book?
No. Do you autograph the cardboard books are hard to autograph, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I've got a little teeny Sharpie, which I squish in my, my signature on the back if anybody asks, but they are definitely a little bit hard to sign.
It is an amazing accomplishment. You have done your own part to spread the good news, and I'm just so proud that Danielle is part of the Hugh Hewitt Show. BabyBeliever.com, 9th book in the series, once a year at Thanksgiving. We tell people about it. We remind people. Are there more coming, Danielle?
Yes, we've got a new release coming in March and another in 2024.
Oh, BabyBeliever.com. Go to it. Enjoy it. Get your Black Friday special. Today is the last day. Danielle, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it very, very much. Congratulations.
Thanks, Hugh. Thanks.
BabyBeliever.com. That's my public service announcement for the day. I have the greatest staff between Adam and Dwayne and Jacob and Harley and Ben and, of course, Danielle and Diane. I have so many people in the Hugh Hewitt universe that I depend upon that nothing happens. Literally nothing happens unless all of these people do their job. And that's what Elon wants at Twitter, and I got it, but at such a small scale for 23 years at HughHewitt.com, because for 23 years, we've hired people who work really hard. And do you know what? They don't turn over very often. Once in a while, someone like Ben finds a great opportunity and they move on, but they don't. Dwayne and Adam have been here for 23 years. I've been here for 23 years, and we're not. And Danielle's been here. How many years, Dwayne? Has Danielle been our associate producer? 17, 18? I don't know. But I'm so happy. BabyBeliever.com. Go to it.